everybody, welcome to another Let's Play. This is going to be a Let's Play on a game that doesn't exist yet. I know it sounds weird, but I actually wrote this game. It's called Last Days, and people have been asking me about it in my sit-and talks probably for going on about a year now. I wrote this game in 2009 when I was doing a lot of traveling, and so I had a lot of time on my hands driving hundreds and thousands of kilometers, miles for those of you that use miles, back and forth for work. And this game was mostly written in my head and then put on paper when I was like sitting in hotel rooms late at night after I was done working. So this game's kind of percolated for a long time. I've had the models on the table. You actually seen the table before during the Let's Play for Wild in the Streets. So this is all scenery I built for my zombie game that we appropriated for that game too. And what I'm going to be doing today is Jason and I are going to walk you through the basic core mechanics, and then we're going to play a game called Firefight. Now, this game has 5 factions in it, and all the factions are supposed to be tropes from different zombie movies. So there's the survivors. The survivors are the regular Joes. They're you and me. If we got caught in the zombie apocalypse, they're the ones that would just be the Joe average people trying to survive. There's the lawmakers, which are the cops. So anybody who is everyone from a mall security guard to the ETF or ATF or whoever, SWAT teams and stuff like that. They would be represented by the lawmakers. So you can have a gang of cops. There's the military, which is anybody from PMCs to whoever your government's military is trying to contain or survive the outbreak. And then there's the road gangs, which are like evil survivors. So they're usually the bad guys in every zombie movie. They're the people that are taking advantage of the situation and each other to try and survive. And then finally there's the living dead. Now, the important thing when I wrote this game to me was somebody didn't have to play the zombies. In lots of like early zombie miniature games that I played, you always had to be someone being the humans and someone being the zombies. And this one, I wanted people to be able to play whoever they wanted to play, and they could play the zombies if they wanted to. So they play like a smart zombie that can control their zombies and has human slaves. Or you can have the zombies just be a neutral third party in every game, and that's pretty much what you'll be seeing today. So those are your choices for factions. It's actually a nice, I'd say, kitchen table size game. The rulebook's only about 40 pages. Yeah, it's short. You'll be able to read it in like an afternoon and be building a warband right away. I made some accessories and stuff for it too. And yeah, we'll play a game right now. So let's walk you through the core mechanics and basic rules, and then we're gonna set up and play a mission called Firefight. So here we are set up, and here is my test copy, my play copy of Last Days. So yeah, you can see, wrote it in 2009. And I did actually commission some artwork and stuff for it too. A guy named Steven Smith did all this great art. And the game itself is nice and short and sweet. You can see here from the game rules on page 1 through the turn weapon summary on page 39, 40. The game is pretty self-contained. There is some background and stuff in it, but for the most part, the game is condensed down into its basic core mechanics and warbands and stuff. So what you need, skirmish scale game, set in a nightmare near future. You're gonna need some 6-sided dice, a tape measure, a 36 by 36 inch playing surface, 20 zombie models, that's the most you're ever gonna need. Appropriate models for you and your opponent's groups, some terrain that's appropriate to the setting, this rulebook, noise, ammo, knockback, and locked and loaded tokens. I actually made those and you can download them. Roster sheets, pencils, and erase to keep track of the models. Check out the great custom cards you can download off our website. So I have cards as well, which you'll see in a minute, which make the game much easier to play. So with these, you're ready to put your group of survivors together. So I'm actually gonna grab one of the cards right now. This is the card for McGonagall, who's my 20-year man in my Lawmakers Warband. And it's going to show you the basic anatomy of a player. So we've got the stat line down the side here, and a place to write in all of his firearm stats, all of his close quarter combat weapon stats, and then his damage track down at the bottom. You flip it over, his experience, his level, a place to mark all your kills during the game, any skills, attributes, or extra equipment that he has, his injuries, and then his overall cost. So you can just slide these into the sleeve, write on them, and then change them up between rounds. And the stat lines are AP, so his action points, close quarter combat, that's his skill at melee, firearms, his skill at shooting, strength, self-explanatory, endurance, how much damage he can soak up, damage capacity, so that's how much damage track he has before he gets knocked out, courage or horror, one or the other. If you're a living model, you usually have a courage stat. If you're a scary zombie, you usually have a horror stat, and then his intelligence. All these are relevant, different things in the game. And then the stat line for most weapons. You have your types. This guy's got a Magnum revolver, has a 12-inch range, does 4 points of damage, a rate of fire of 1. You can fire it once every shooting phase, knockback of 2. So that's a stat where if he hits a zombie and doesn't kill it, that's the AP reduction on a zombie hit by this gun. So Zombies don't just die if you hit them. There's a chance you get them in the head. There's a chance you just do a bunch of damage and knock them over or slow them down. And that's why you have a knockback stat. And then reload, when you get ammo counters, you have to test to see if your gun is going to run out of ammo or not. And you roll and add your number of ammo counters. If you hit your reload stat, you're out of ammo and you have to reload during your next turn. And then finally, your close quarter combat weapons, he's got a knife, which is +1 to his close quarter combat, so his stat goes up to 5 if he uses it. And then his strength modifier is 0, so it doesn't add anything to his strength. Special rolls, he's a leader. That becomes important during the game for your initiative rolls and stuff. And inspiring presence, he makes guys braver around him in case they get engaged by zombies and they have to make a horror test. So all important stat lines, and that's basically the anatomy of the card. And also this section, the only thing that's worth noting that's in here that's not on the card is the zombie does not have an endurance, and that's because he has a rule called you have to shoot them in the head. So he does not have a normal endurance like other people, and that will become apparent, and you'll understand that as we go through zombies later on. Setting up the game, there is some basic sort of mechanics for setting up the terrain in the game, and that is the first piece of terrain has to go in the middle, or as close as possible to the middle of the table, and then you classify all of the other terrain by its type. It's either open, so streets, alleys, grass, dirts. It's difficult, so rubble, wrecked vehicles, hedges, stuff like that. Solid, so walls, you can't move through those things. And then there's other things too that can be in the game. That's ladders, doors, and car alarms. They have rules later on in the scenario section that can be important when you actually start fighting. And then the setup guidelines are after force has been chosen, but before you actually choose the mission, each piece of terrain should be no bigger than 6x6 for solid pieces that you can't go into, and 10x10 for terrain that you can go into. Minimum size piece should be about 2x2, and that's just for solid chunks like cars and stuff. Little scatter pieces, like you can see here, we got some barricades and barriers, and little bitty what's it called? It's parking cones. They're just for decoration. You can feel free to throw those down as you like. Players then take it in turns placing terrain pieces. Should be no less than 3 and no more than 8 inches from another piece of terrain. Players take it in turns deploying terrain until the table has been filled to an appropriate level, and probably between 7 and 10 big pieces of terrain will likely do it. And then Firefight, this is the scenario we're going to be playing, is the basic scenario for learning the game, and we'll walk through that later. But let's go over to the phases of the game. There are 5 of them. So the first thing is the menace phase, and the menace phase is where you resolve all of your current statuses, and then you resolve your zombies on the table. Most scenarios, there's zombies on the table to begin with, and you make some rolls prior to activating them. So the first thing is for noise tokens. Every time you do something, if you have the noisy stat, or if you fire a weapon that doesn't have the silent characteristic, you earn a noise token. We have some little handy noise tokens right here, and you place that next to the model. And you could have noisy as like a trait on your gun. So for instance, if he fired a regular gun, he'd be noisy 1, so a noisy 1 token, and these are all dry erase, so I can just change them if I want. He has a magnum though, which is noisy as a stat, which means it gives you an extra noisy token. Oops, that's ammo. And he'd have a noise stat of 2. Now, everybody who has a noise token at the beginning of a round, you roll a dice for, and if you roll a 6 or more, a zombie shows up at the nearest point, nearest table edge point to that model, because you've attracted him into the board. McGonagall is hanging it over here. Whoops, he's been shooting at somebody. He's got a noisy 2 token. We roll a dice for him, so on a 4 or more, he attracts a zombie. He rolls a 6, and that means a zombie has shown up on the board. So what you do is you'd plot the closest point to the table, edged from him, and you'd place a zombie there. So this guy's going to attract a zombie right here. Brains. Zombies join the board. There's other things that have, mostly it's guns that are noisy, but those are things that have the noisy trait. So if you have a chainsaw, it's obviously noisy. If you recruit the dog, who's a henchman into your gang, he's actually noisy all the time because he barks, he goes crazy when there's zombies around. So he attracts zombies as well. And it means that there's actually some value to fighting in close combat in this game, because you might be safe being far away with guns, but you're flooding the table with zombies the more you use them. So after you've resolved all the noise tokens on the table, you resolve the ammo tokens. So let's say that McGonagall, Clint, slip of the tongue, had fired his gun last turn. You gain an ammo token for every time that you fire your weapon. And then every time you use a weapon, it will have a reload stat. So for instance, his Magnum has a reload stat of 6. You roll a die, you add the current ammo number that you're at, and if it equals 6 or more, he's out of ammo. So now he is out of ammo, and that gun cannot be fired until he spends 2 AP to reload it. Rolled a 1, 2, or 3. Well, let's try that again. Hey, look, I rolled that. He got a total of 5. He rolled under his reload stat, and he'd be able to keep shooting. You can actually get an ammo number higher than your reload stat, and you can keep firing it until the turn when it actually runs out of ammo and breaks. After that, we get to zombie activation. So now let's say McGonagall had attracted this zombie over here. The zombies all activate on a program, basically. They will always go towards the nearest thing they can see. Now this guy was summoned on the board. He'd actually be over here, in a point where he can't actually see McGonagall. So what he does instead is he moves towards the closest thing that made noise. So even though he can't currently see him, he will come around the corner because he knows he's there because he made noise this turn. So if you had a noise counter this turn and you're the closest model, he will come towards you, even if he's not the guy that summoned a zombie. He has 6 AP, and he uses all that AP to move towards McGonagall and try and get into close combat. Finally, you remove any locked and loaded tokens that weren't used the previous round. So locked and loaded is a state you can enter into during your activation, which allows you to shoot twice during a turn instead of just the once you normally can during the shooting phase. And it actually allows you to interrupt people's movement with shooting as well too. So locked and loaded costs you a lot of AP to do it, and it lasts until the next menace phase. So if you do it during your activation, someone else moves nearby where you can see, you would actually get to spend this to fire again. But if you still have one at the start of the turn, you pull it off because you have to maintain it with AP. That's the menace phase. That happens before anybody else goes. And then it's over to the initiative phase. So now the initiative phase, both warband leaders, the group leaders, so in my case, McGonagall over here, and in your case, who have you got? You've got, what's his name?
Lieutenant Gorman.
Oh, Lieutenant Gorman. So Lieutenant Gorman, he's a military guy. You would add together their intelligence and their courage. So for me, that would be 7.
Mine would be 8.
You'd be 8, and we dice off, adding that number. So I got a total of 13. You got a 13 as well. We'll roll again. I got a total, we did it again, stop that. Hey, there you go, you win. So you got 14 to my 11. And what that means is you get to choose if you want to be the aggressor or the defender. Now, both have an advantage. The aggressor gets to move first during the during the activation step. The defender gets to shoot first during the shooting step. The aggressor can also pick the first model to fight in close combat during the close combat step. So each one is kind of important, right? So if you decide to be the defender, you will get the jump on people with your guns. And if you decide to be the aggressor, you will get the jump on people in melee, and also for the first part of the turn when you're actually activating models. You get to activate the first model for the round. So the choice is yours. You're not pigeonholed into doing one or the other and just activating a model first. And it can be very important to your turn which one you decide to do. So once you've decided who the aggressor and who the defender is, you start the action phase. And you start with the aggressor, and you go back and forth activating a model. So let's say I had not lost the roll, and McGonagall decided he wanted to activate because there's a zombie nearby. He would then get to do his AP stat, so 6 in this case, of actions. For 1 action point, you can move an inch in any direction. You can, for 2 action points, move an inch through anything you've declared to be difficult terrain, so rubble or burning cars or whatever. You can run, and that means you can move your AP times 2 inches in any direction. What that means is you can spend all of your AP to move and go up to twice your AP stat, but you can't do anything else that turn because you're just concentrating on running. You can break contact with the enemy, so for 3 AP, you can move an inch away from an enemy model. So let's say he was engaged with a zombie, he can move an inch back. Now, if there was more than 1 zombie, he'd pay an additional AP to get away from each one. So if he's surrounded by 4 more zombies, he is pinned. He can't go anywhere, and he's forced to fight in close combat. Climb a climbable surface, 2 AP. You declare something as being climbable. It just obviously has to have handholds. So like we would declare that this right here is climbable because there's obviously a little ledge here. You can climb on top of this dumpster and get on the roof of this thing if you wanted to. The sides wouldn't be climbable, but you could clearly jump up on this. So for each inch tall, you'd pay 2 AP to get up there, which means for a full AP, you could clearly climb to the top of this building. We're gonna close the door, 2 AP. Now doors, when you deploy a building, you decide if they're open or closed. It's 2 AP to open one, and it remains open afterwards. And the importance there is zombies can't just move through doors. They're not smart enough. But they can attack them and try and break them down. So all the doors you'll see in this are for the most part removable, and we'll mark when they're open and closed by opening and closing them. And if they're destroyed, we'll just pull them off altogether. Reloading a firearm, so if you've lost your firearm, it costs you 2 AP to reload it if you run out of ammo. It can be used normally again during that shooting step. So basically what running out of bullets does is it slows you down. It costs you time to reload, and that's why it can be advantageous sometimes to carry more than 1 gun. 4 action points, you can go locked and loaded. You gain a locked and loaded token, and once taken, you can no longer spend any more AP. So you want to spend your first couple things that you want to do before you go locked and loaded. That allows you, if you're the next model go, or if a model activates in front of you, to actually shoot out of it out of activation. So as soon as it spends an AP on anything, if it's within 12 inches in line of sight, you can then fire on them. So Can be very handy for getting the jump on people and for generating extra shots during your turn. And last but not least, interact with an objective. It's 3 action points. Very often the mission will have an objective in it. Firefight doesn't, but there's a mission called Get to the Chopper where you're trying to start a car or get into a helicopter or something where you're trying to get something started so you can escape. That uses that action. There's a bunch of other missions where you're consecutively spending those AP to try and do something. There's a hostage one where you're trying to rescue somebody where it costs you 3 AP to pick them up. Bits and pieces like that. Scavenge costs you 3 to pick up an objective. And it just slows you down a little bit from being able to just push buttons and run. So those are the things you can spend AP on. Now, the only actions that zombies can do are the ones marked with an asterisk. So they can move through normal terrain, move through difficult terrain, and climb a climbable surface. They cannot go up and down ladders, however. You'll find that out later on. But they could, for instance, use this dumpster to get on top of a roof and get to you. Once the action phase is over, it goes to the shooting phase. And we go back and forth during the action phase, nominating models. We use the cards handily enough to mark who's activated and not. So I'd activate McGonagall. I would turn it sideways. I won't refer to that by any other term that could be patented. Turn the card sideways so that I know that he's gone, and my remaining models would then be eligible to activate. My opponent would activate a model, and we'd go back and forth until everyone's gone. Shooting phase is where you do basically the same thing, but with shooting. So you would turn all your cards back in the shooting phase, and then anybody with a gun, you could nominate to shoot. Again, the defender goes first now instead of the aggressor. You would turn the card, and then you get to fire at somebody. Firing is very simple. You roll a dice, you add your firearm stat after all modifiers are in play, and you get a 7 or more lucky 7s. The guy is hit. If he's in range, because everything has a range stat, and then you apply all these modifiers. If it's a zombie, you get +1 to hit because they don't even try and get out of the way. If you're firing over half the range of the weapon, so if I was firing this rifle at 12 inches, it would be a normal roll, -1 to hit over 12 inches up to 24. If I can see half the model or more, it's -1 through cover. If I can see if I can see less than a quarter of the model, it's -2, and these don't stack. And then any rate of fire shots after the first, so additional shots after the first one for guns that can shoot more than once, are also -1 to hit. So let's say McGonagall here is firing his magnum at this zombie. He's within 12 inches. He is a zombie, so he's +1 to hit. McGonagall's firearm set is 4. It goes up to 5. So if I roll a dice and add 5, that's going to be a total of 11, which means it's more than 7. I've scored a hit against him. After we've determined whether or not someone has hit them with the lucky number 7s rule, we just need to find out if we've done any damage or not. So you resolve shooting damage. You take the damage of the gun, so in this case it's damage 4, and you roll a dice, and then you divide that by the endurance of the target. So I got a total of 9. The endurance of this little fella right here, this little survivor, is 3. So 3 into 9, 3 times, he's taken 3 hits and damage, and he is removed from the game. Now, if I'd rolled worse than that, he could still be on his feet, just be flesh wounded with 2 or 1 points of damage. So like, for instance, if I'd rolled a 1, it'd been a 5, we could have put 3 into that once, because you actually round down in this case. He'd take a single box on damage. But I rolled high enough that he was just removed from the game. Now, likewise, if I hit the zombie, I actually don't roll to see if I damage him normally, because he doesn't have an endurance stat. Instead, he has a stat called you gotta hit him in the head. And it's a very simple rule. On a flat 5 or better, you've hit them in the head, because it's incredibly hard to hit things in the head when they're moving around usually, unless you're very well trained, and lots of people in last days aren't well trained. So on a 5 or better, you'll take him out. On a 1 to 4, he gains knockback tokens. And that's when your knockback stat becomes important. So a big high caliber handgun has a knockback stat of 2. That means that this fella, he's going to gain a knockback token of 2. Whoops. And when he activates in the next menace phase, he'll have 2 less AP. So he'll only be able to move 4 inches instead of the 6 inches he'd normally be able to. So if multiple guys hit a zombie and don't kill them, their AP could be reduced to 0, and that means they don't move at all. Once that phase is over, we've gone back and forth and everyone's fired, we go to the close quarter combat phase. Now let's say that this zombie had actually made it into McGonagall over here, and he was being forced to fight him. You'd activate, starting with the aggressor, one of your models, to fight. You'd have an attacker and a defender. And the zombies would always go last, starting with a model picked by the aggressor, and then going back and forth with the defender until they've all attacked as well. So with McGonagall here, let's say he was the aggressor, he would choose to fight, he would roll a die and add his close quarter combat skill. So he has a close quarter combat skill of 4. He's armed with a knife, and that gives him a CQC mod of +1, so it becomes 5. A zombie is not the best in melee. He is CQC 3, he's pretty average. So he gets to roll a die and add 3. McGonagall rolls a dice and adds 5. So total of 4 for the zombie, total of 10 for McGonagall. McGonagall has successfully defended against the zombie and taken no damage. Now there is one important thing to know about zombies, and this is outside of close combat. If they engage you, you immediately have to make a courage test, and that's to see if you can break off later on during the initiative step. If you fail it, you are scared and you cannot take any APs expended to break off that turn. You're too busy fighting. Basically, it makes the zombies sticky. Otherwise, it's very easy if they engage you to just walk back and then shoot them and walk back and then shoot them. And that's okay. It's a completely valid tactic as long as you're brave. If you're not brave, it falls apart and you can potentially get mauled by multiple zombies. So it's an opposed test, just like melee is. So McGonagall has a courage of 4. The zombie has a horror of 3. You dice off. 6 total. 7 total. McGonagall's stuck there fighting that zombie. He's panicked too much to run away. Now, if the zombie had hit McGonagall, the damage system is exactly as it is for a shooting attack, except you use the model's strength. So McGonagall's endurance is 3, the zombie's strength is 3, I believe. And that means we both roll a die. Actually, you just roll a die and add your total. So strength 3, you get a total of 7. That means McGonagall would take 2 damage points in damage and have 1 left, because you can divide 3 into 7 twice, rounding down. Finally, once the close quarter combat phase is done, we go to breaking point, and that's when you check to see if your group of survivors has reached the breaking point or they might just take off. So starting with the aggressor for that turn, you roll a die, and you add the number of casualties your group has taken, and then compare that to the combined courage and intelligence of your leader. If it is equal to or less, you stick around. If it's higher, you run away. So if I'd taken a casualty this round, I'd roll a die. I get a 5, goes to 6. That's still equal to or less McGonagall's courage plus intelligence of 7, which means his group does not run away. All right, so now we get on to special rules and stuff. I'm not going to go into detail into all of them. I'm only going to talk about them if they come up. But there are a huge number of special rules. First of all, governing zombies. I basically went through all of them already. And then finally governing all of the skills and stuff that you can learn. You have all kinds of skills that either your guys start with when you buy them into your warband, or you can learn later on during the campaign rules. Things like book smart, it gives you a bonus to doing any kind of intelligence-based objectives. Crowd control, you never have any kind of penalties for being in contact with multiple hostile models. Disarming guys, you can actually knock guys' close combat weapons out of their hands. Here we go. Gunsmith, that allows you to add to things damaged, add to guns damage, but their reload value goes down because they have harder to make ammunition, so you can make like specialty ammunition for your guns. Fire maneuver. Every time they make a ranged attack against an enemy model, they may move 1 inch towards that model, provided they do not move through a barrier or through difficult terrain. The movement does not have to be directly towards them, but they must end up closer than they were before they moved. So it allows you to kind of like shoot and scoot as you do things, and on and on and on. So there's tons of these different skills you can learn. There's also attributes that equipment and weapons can have. So for instance, silent, if a gun is either fitted with a silencer or just doesn't make any noise, it does not generate noise tokens. So if you have a bow and arrow, for instance, you never generate noise tokens. So Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead, he'd be one of those guys that could kill dudes, but wouldn't have to worry about attracting new models to the table. Likewise, if you buy a silencer, it's good for 1 game, and certain weapons can and can't be fitted with it. So obviously you can't fit a minigun with a silencer, but you could fit like an automatic with a silencer. We don't also live in the world where you can somehow fit a revolver with a silencer, because that's not a real thing. You could fit a suppressor onto it, but it wouldn't do a lot of stuff because the chamber's open. Then we have a huge list of weapons and equipment. Most of the weapon names are generic enough that you don't have to worry about models and classifications of guns. So like a revolver is any kind of revolver, a semi-automatic is any kind of semi-automatic pistol that isn't a revolver. A magnum is usually a revolver. It could be a pistol, but regardless, it makes so much noise that it's either or. Rifles, you have rifles, high-powered rifles, and then military sniper rifles. All of them have certain special rules. Sawn-off for breech-loading shotguns, pump-action shotguns, and then combat shotguns. The usual difference between them is the reload value. So a breech-loading and shot-off shotgun, got to reload almost every time. It's got a reload value of 2. Whereas a pump-action shotgun, it's got a tube, so you can have up to 5 shots with that. It's mostly just the capacity that's different. Combat shotguns has a higher rate of fire, but the same reload, so you can fire it more than once, usually because it's semi-automatic. Submachine guns, you get the Street Super SMG, so like a light, either a modified handgun that can fire fully automatic, or something like that, or like a older version of an SMG. And then military SMGs, more modern SMGs. Military surplus assault rifles, which are usually higher caliber and lower clip. And then military issue assault rifles, which are usually lower caliber and higher clip. So, for instance, the difference between an AK-47 firing 7.62 and a NATO 5.56 assault rifle that's just firing smaller ammunition. So the knockback's the same, but the damage could potentially be lower and the range is not necessarily as accurate over long range. Heavy weapons, you've got squad-o-matic weapons, so any kind of like light machine gun, and a minigun, because you gotta have a minigun in a zombie game. It's just, you just gotta do it. There's really no point to having it. It's just, who doesn't want to have a minigun? And then sporting goods, so composite hunting bows, hunting crossbows, explosive, all explosive are considered to be improvised or otherwise, so they're all the same. Their impact is basically the same. And then improvised close combat weapons, so things like nightsticks, crowbars, cricket bats. Don't worry too much about what it is, more about whether or not it's blunt and hits people, or really heavy and hits people. It's like a fire axe, a 2x4, anything big, huge, and heavy. And then the gardening or forestry appliance, chainsaws, gas-powered hedge clippers, whatever you've decided you want to try and kill zombies with, that you would normally buy at some kind of like, I guess, like gardening center or forestry appliance. That's what it is. You don't have to use these names, obviously. This is just a generic name for whatever you've decided to use. And then ancient bladed weapons, knives, and swords. Piles of general equipment, things like assault armor, booze, climbing gear, scopes, silencers, tactical vests, and riot shields, all basically available for you to buy. And then the force lists. The force lists are divided into two camps. There's the forces themselves, and then there is the henchmen, who are guys that you can find in various locations that you go to scavenge in. So as I said earlier, there are 5 main groups. There is the... keep going, Ash, here we go. The survivors, which were on page 24, but I can't get to. There we go. The living dead, the lawmakers, the road gangs, the military, and all of them have their own list of guys that they can hire. They have their own starting equipment page, so basically what kind of equipment you can arm them with from the beginning. And then your henchmen have a bunch of special rules. You can only ever have one, and different groups can hire different henchmen. So for instance, survivors can hire everybody. Whereas the living dead, they can only hire the survivalist. He's the only one crazy enough to actually go with them. The lawmakers can get the dog or the kid, but they can't get the rogue cop or soldier or the survivalist because they don't trust him. The lawmakers can get, the road gangs get the dog or the survivalist. The military can get the dog and the kid as well. And after the game, that's where you'll find them. There's also 5 scenarios that you can play through in the game. We've got Firefight, Scavengers. This is our place, so I can defend your home. Get to the chopper and rescue. And we also define some special terrain here. So ladders basically don't cost you climbing movement. You can just spend an inch to go up a ladder. Doors, we talked about earlier, begin the game open or closed. You can also smash them. And then car alarms. It can be really inconvenient to have one of them go off. Anytime someone's within 2 inches of a car as the target of a ranged attack, you roll a die. If you roll a 6, the car starts generating noisy counters and can draw more zombies on the table. So you can actually make cars useful to having as like a sort of like side to pick the board. So like if you pick this side of the board and your only cover is cars, there's a very good chance when guys shoot at you, they're going to start having their car alarms go off, and this side of the board is going to get swamped by zombies. So when you're placing terrain, think about where you put the cars, because they can cause problems. And finally, there's the campaign game rules. So you create your group, you get 100 scavenge points to do so. You can never have more than 12 models, and any unused scavenge points can be used in between games to hire new guys and get loot and stuff. You would then figure out what your survival probability is. So everyone's survival probability, which is on their group card here, which shows all your group members, and then your cash and your extra equipment stuff that you've stored, starts at 100. If anyone's survival probability ever gets to 300, the campaign ends. They win. They're the top dogs. They're the ones who have decided that they're going to survive the zombie apocalypse. They have tough enough to make it, and it ends the campaign. And there's a point to that, in that a lot of campaign games tend to go on and on and on, and I wanted this game to have a logical conclusion. So it's hard to get to 300, but typically if you've gotten there, you've had a satisfying campaign, and that resets it so that you can start another one. Finally, you roll for scenario. We're not going to bother doing that because we're just going to play Firefight, and that takes us to the post-game sequence. This is familiar if you've ever played campaign games. First, you resolve injuries. You see if guys have died or not. There's a 2d6 table for that. Adjust experience, that's how much experience you get. And then you can buy levels. Everybody starts off at level 0, and your cost in experience is going to get higher the higher level you are. And every time you buy a level, you can roll on the advances. You can either roll on a skill table of your choice, if it's accessible to your group, or you can roll on the characteristic table and see what you get. I did go with rolling on tables as opposed to picking skills, because I kind of like that better than being able to spec out your guys too specifically. You can still learn what kind of skills they get. So like you can pick a weapon skill as opposed to trying to, you know, get a skill that might not be relevant to you considering how you're armed. But I don't like campaign games where you can kind of tech tree out too hard and guys get too good too fast. So it's kind of a compromise. It was a design choice, it was conscious, but I find it tends to give you a more narrative experience in your games, finding out what your guys are learning by surviving the zombie apocalypse rather than just tooling them up to be the best they can possibly be. Now, last but not least is scavenging, and scavenging equipment has 4 different locations. One of the things I wanted to do to make this game kind of feel like the zombie apocalypse was that you had to pick where you went to scavenge. And there's 4 spots to start off with in this book. There's the camping and sporting goods store, the mall, the gun shop, and the military cache. And certain groups actually won't go and scavenge in other places. If you play the military, you are only allowed to scavenge the military cache. And you get bonuses to do so, but it means that you are really kind of like pigeonholed into what kind of equipment you take because you're the military. You might be really good at doing one thing, but you don't diversify the way the survivors do. Where the survivors, it's really hard for them to find anything in the military cache, but they will go around and basically scavenge anywhere if they can. You earn scavenge points during each game. There's a table here to show you what. And then this is your shopping cart, basically, of what you can find there. Now, if things have a rare number, the number of survivors you have that go and search, they have to try and roll equal to or over that number on a die in order to find that thing. So if you want to buy medical supplies for 3 of your scavenge points, you have to roll 5+ to do so, and you get a number of tries. There you go, I get it in the second try, equal to the number of people in your warband as they go and they look. Each location also has a certain henchman that's at it. Now, if you can't scavenge in a location, you can still go there to try and find the henchman. So, for instance, the guys who can't go anywhere at the military cache, they can still go and try and find the dog. They just don't get to scavenge for anything else during that turn. He has a rare value too, and if you want to try and hire him, you can bring him into the game. The mall is where most of the weird stuff is, knives and swords. You can go to the local candle store and buy some ornamental swords and I guess sharpen them yourself to fight with swords. You can find clubs, you can find rifles, usually because there's probably rifles at the Walmart. You can find booze, medical supplies, and you can make your own homemade explosives because if you've ever been to a mall, you can probably find some hairspray. And if you can find some hairspray, you can probably make something that can blow up. Gun stores, military cache, again, it's all different kinds of stuff you find in these places. If you're done doing that, you can recruit new members. And recruiting members is actually a bit harder than you'd think it would be. You can only ever recruit 1 person per game turn. So you can't just max, if you get a really good turn, you get lots of scavenge points, you can't just max out your warband. Because it's hard to find people when everybody's turned into zombies. So you can only hire 1 per turn. And again, it keeps the warbands from getting too big too fast. And you have to sort of focus on keeping guys alive. It also affects your in-game, because you don't want to lose guys, because you can't just bring them back. Finally, if for whatever reason you need to, you can retire someone, you can kick them out. And that's it. That's the gist of the rulebook. Last but not least, we have an action summary sheet for the game, and that's it. So we're going to set up Firefight, and I'll run you through how we set up that mission. Alright, so Firefight, overview. 2 groups have met while looking for a secure place to spend the night. Tensions flare and shots are fired. So, in this game, my lawmakers, which is these 5 cops right here. We've got McGonagall, who's the leader, the 20-year man. He is leading, not you. You're in someone else's warband. He's there leading these guys. We've got Officer White. He's a STARS veteran, Special Tactics and Rescue Squad veteran. And he has Kevlar vest. He's got a tactical vest and a military surplus assault rifle and a knife. We've got Officer Anders, who's also a Special Tactics and Rescue Squad veteran. He's got a tactical vest, a riot shield, a club, and a revolver. We've got Officer Trent, he's just a cop, he's got a pump-action shotgun, and Officer Bilko, he's got a pump-action shotgun and a knife. And that's my starting Last Days Lawmaker warband. 5 dudes, ready to bring some justice to the zombie apocalypse. But basically right now, they're just trying to find a place to spend the night. And here's Jason's military warband. These are some beautiful models from the White Ops section of Hassle-Free Miniatures. Mine are all hassle-free as well, actually. We've got Lieutenant Gorman here with an assault rifle on the left. We've got the Specialist, which is Farsight. He's got a sniper rifle. And he is basically just armed with that and a knife. Gorman's got a knife as well. Corporal Hicks, he's just a rifleman. He's got a shotgun here on the far right. He's also got a knife. And then finally we've got Corporal Shane. Corporal Shane has an SMG and a knife. And that rounds you out to 100. Don't get a lot of guys in the military. They start off really, really good. So now we've set up our terrain already. Here's our 3x3. We've got what looks like a crime scene. Something was going down in this restaurant when it all started to fall apart. It's all kind of like marked off our little downtown core urban environment here. We're just trying to find a place to spend the night. So the players then roll off, and the winner is going to choose any of the 4 table edges. So you don't have to do lengthwise. We probably will just for convenience sake, but you can choose any of the 4 table edges to deploy on. Now the simple thing here is you have a 5-inch deployment zone, and once you deployed, we'll go back and forth alternating models. So I put down a model, you put down a model until everything's deployed. All right, rolling off to see who places the first model. I get a 6. So I'm going to choose this side over here and place my first model within 5 inches. All right, so 5-inch deployment. Now this is just a fight to the death. So we're gonna go for 6 turns or until one side breaks. I'm gonna start with Officer Bilko. I'm gonna place him 5 inches over here. Corporal Farsight is gonna be hanging out, sorry, Specialist Farsight actually is gonna be hanging over there with the sniper rifle. All right, Officer White's gonna hang out over here. Gorman's gonna hang out next to the cop car over there. We're going to put Officer Anders in his riot gear behind this bus over here. Hicks with his shotgun for close encounters is gonna hang out behind that cop car. McGonagall's hanging out over here. It's gonna party with Officer Anders. And then we got Corporal Shane hanging out with his SMG behind that big orange dice is about to disappear. There we go. So all I have left is Officer Trent. And Officer Trent is gonna hang over here beside Officer White. Now we place zombies, and the person that won the roll-off gets to place first. We place 3 zombies, so I'm gonna place 2 and you're gonna place 1. This is our zombie pool over here. You never need more than 20 because once you get to 20, the board is pretty much swimming in zombies, and yeah, your menace phase will take so long the game will bog down. So I capped it there, but we're gonna place 3, so I'm gonna get 2. Pick a hospital zombie, and you can get 1. Here, you can do this guy. They have to be placed within 3 inches of a piece of terrain and not in contact with enemy models. So I'm gonna start off placing 1. I'm gonna place 1 right here behind this. I feel like she stumbled out of that ambulance. I'm behind the school bus. Ruh-roh. All right, and then my last zombie. He's outside your deployment zone within 3 inches of a building. He's gonna hang out right here. We're all now deployed, and that means we will roll, actually start with the menace phase of the first turn. So there are no noise tokens on the table, which means zombies are just gonna activate and go towards, and there's no ammo tokens either, go towards the nearest thing they can see. Now this zombie right here can see, right now we've got Officer White and Officer Trent, so he's gonna make a beeline over there. He's gonna end up going 5 and walking out in the open, like so. But when he gets to this point, he can then see Officer Anders, and his last 3, he's gonna do, whoops, to go run over here and engage him, because he notices them as he comes around the corner. So, he goes in and tries to melee him. Courage and horror test, we'll roll off right now and see if Officer Anders is stuck in melee this turn. So go ahead and roll a die. You'll be rolling for the zombie. He's 4-3, so 4 total. I get a total of 9, 10 because of the inspirational presence of my boss. So I can break off this turn, I'm not recoiling. Zombie's gonna go. So he's just gonna head 5, or she's gonna head 5 towards the nearest thing she can see. She probably won't quite make it into combat.
Oh yeah.
Whoop, so she's gonna go fight Corporal Hicks. So now we gotta make a horror roll again, see if he's stuck there fighting her. He might not be if Lieutenant Gorman's in range, because he should have inspirational presence. He's got tactical acumen. It's the NCO in the military that gets the inspiring presence, the yelling drill sergeant, the gunny. So you will tie, and that means you roll again. Let's see what happens. So the zombie wins. You cannot break off this turn. All right, so with that being done, we have 1 more zombie to do, and he can see Farsight. So he's gonna go 2 to hit the corner here, and then 2-3. He's gonna end up in melee with Farsight. Does Farsight make his roll? Gets a 1. Gets a 5, so he cannot break off this turn either. All right, so now we're up to the initiative roll. Menace phase is over, and we're both gonna roll a die. Now you get to roll, because you have tactical acumen, 2 dice, and choose which one you like the best. Now we take our initiative plus courage, so for you it's 8, for me it's 7. And so he goes first. So I get a total of 8, you pick the 3, and you get a total of 11. So you can choose, do you want to be the the aggressor or the defender? Do you want to activate a model first, or do you want to choose who fights first, or sorry, shoots first during the shooting phase?
I will attack.
Okay, so you be the aggressor? Sounds good. Yep. Your model activate, you're going to pick Gorman.
I'm going to start with Gorman.
So he's got 6 AP, which means he can move freely 6 inches if he wants.
Oh yeah, lots of room to move.
Head up behind this fire and rescue truck. His card, we know he's activated, and we are now going to activate, let's say Officer Anders. He's going to spend 3 AP to break off from this zombie. Whoop. And then he's going to spend 3 more to move. So he's going to move 1 inch away with that first AP from his break off. He's got 3 left. He's going to head over this way, like so. Anders is done. It's over to you.
All right, I will activate Shane.
Shane's going to go.
And he's going to run. So...
Go 6. Midway up. It's probably easier just to use... There you go. The other hands. Yep. And he's done. Actually running, so he gets to move again because he gets twice his AP, and he's going to leg it up here, but he can't can't use AP to do anything else this turn. Or shoot. Trent's going to go. He is also going to run, so he's going to move 12 inches this turn, but not be able to fire. So he's going to go 6 over this way, and then 6 more. Doesn't have to use it all. He's just going to hang out back here behind the postal truck. All right, so we've got Farsight going. He's just going to stand there in melee because he can't break off this turn because he failed his courage test. That's going to put it back over to me. Officer White's going to activate. He's going to move into this building. So we're going to take this top off. Doors are open here, so he's going to run. He's going to go 6, and then 6 more. And be by this door over here. Look, I did have detailed interiors on all of these. There's like a little apartment in the top floor. And then, because the bottom floor used to be a pawn shop because it was looted, this is a tattoo parlor. Officer Bilko's going to go. He's going to run as well. So he's going to go 6 up to the street lamp to here. And then he's going to go 6 again. And go hang out behind this dumpster. Like so. Officer Hicks, Corporal Hicks is going to go. He's done because he's stuck fighting hospital zombie. And that leaves me just with McGonagall. He's trying to eat his lunch here. And he's going to also run. He wants to be near his boys. So he's going to go away from Mr. Zombie. 6. And then around this car. 2 and then 4 more. Does not turn on the bus. He wants to be on this side of it. It's me all done. So turn is over. Neither of us have fired a shot, and shooting phase will now commence. I have 3 guys who ran. You've got 1 guy who ran and 1 guy with an assault rifle who can shoot. Me being a defender, I can actually choose to fire first. I don't have a lot of people in a position to, but I do have a revolver on Officer Anders here. He's going to try and take a shot at the zombie. Fire a revolver. Has a range of 12 inches. So he's inside half, so no penalties there. Targets a zombie, so he gets +1 to hit. His firearms is normally 4, it goes to 5. And that's it. So 1 shot, needs to get to 7, so 2 or better. Get him! Now again, he doesn't have an endurance stat because he's a zombie, so on a 5 or better, Anders gets him with his revolver and shoots him in the head. Nope, doesn't shoot him, so he's going to take a knockback count. The knockback on a revolver is 1. Means instead of having a 5 AP next turn, he will only have 4. Got Lieutenant Gorman. What does he want to do?
He's going to shoot McGonagall.
Oh, not McGonagall. Okay. So he's definitely got range. What has he got? A military assault rifle?
Yeah, which is 24
24.
inches.
So you're definitely in range, but you're -1 because you're over half.
Yep.
And then how much of them can you see? Can you see half or can you see all of them? You'll only be at -2 for being able to see less than all of them because there's a bunch of stuff in the way. So scenery in the way. It's additional -1. So you're going to be hitting at firearms of 5. Sorry, firearms of 2. So you need a 5 or better to hit 7. 5 or better.
First shot.
Hits. And then you get a second shot. Now it's -1, so it's 6 or better. Nope. Misses. So he takes 1 hit. His endurance for the 20-year man, McGonagall, is 3. And your damage on an assault rifle, I believe, is 4.
Correct.
All right, you could just kill him here if you're on 9 or 10. And that's a 6. He takes 2 points of damage. McGonagall's hit. Blam! 2 boxes of damage. McGonagall's been wounded. He's got 1 damage box left. That's going to be 2 noise tokens and 2 ammo tokens. I also need to put an ammo token and a noise token, over here, because he fired his weapon as well. All right, so with that all resolved, the shooting is over because everybody else ran or is in melee. We're in a close quarter combat. So you're the aggressor, so you can pick which one happens first.
Farsight's going to attack the zombie.
Okay, so Farsight gets to swing on the zombie. So the zombie will defend. It's only close combat 3. You are 3, maybe 4.
Close combat 3.
+1 because of your knife, so
yep.
4. So you get to roll and add 4. I get to roll and add 3. You get a 5. It's a 10. So he defended successfully. So now it's over to your next model because I don't have any models. And that's going to be Hicks. So also armed with a knife.
Yeah, so 4.
So you definitely hit him, and your damage is irrelevant because he's a zombie. So 5+, you stab it in the head. Nope, it survives. All right, so now the zombies get to swing back at you. So we'll start with the one on the right here. He's gonna stab poor Farsight. Again, you are close combat 4. 6 total. You get a 6 as well, tie, so you win. Farsight, same deal. Total of 8. Total of 9, so you actually win there and successfully defend. Also worth noting, because we forgot this in the shooting phase, you have to roll a die for this boss on a 6. You've hit something noisy on it, it starts making noise.
And
no noise there. It's just that's right. You're gonna fire all these dice. I would not blame you for firing all these dice. So we're done turn 1. No one's taken any casualties yet, so we don't have to roll for breaking point. We're gonna go to turn 2. So menace phase. First things first. We're gonna do noise tokens and then ammo tokens. So over here, I had a noise token. So dice +1. If it's a 6, it's not. The noise token's removed and no zombies brought to the table. And then you get to do your noise tokens. So you've got
dice +2.
Dice +2, that's right, because you failed twice. 4, so no zombies brought on by that. Ammo rolls, so over here we've got a reload of 6, so I pass, which means this ammo roll stays here, and he does not have to reload this turn. He still has ammunition. For you, I think your reload count's pretty high. I think it's 10.
12.
12, yeah, you don't have to roll. You can't roll a 12 on one die. You need to roll a 10 on that dice. Hey, you didn't. Yes. Quit spending those 6s. You need those. All right. And that's going to be the menace phase as far as ammo and noise tokens. Your noise tokens will come off. Now it's going to be the zombie activation phase. We'll start with the only unengaged zombie. He's got -1 AP this turn because of the 1 knockback token. But he can still move 4. He'll move towards the closest thing that he can see, which is going to be him. And engage him in melee. Whoop. So that's a horror test. Presence has walked away. But we still win, so we could break off if we want to. On to the initiative roll now. So you get 2 dice for tactical acumen again, and pick the highest, or whichever one you like actually, and I get 1. So you get to win. 8 + 5 is 13, to my 7 + 3 is 10. So you can choose to be the aggressor or the defender. Aggressor moves first, defender gets to shoot first. Which one do you want to do?
I will be the aggressor.
All right, getting to move first. Because these 2 corporals were engaged at the start of the turn, they didn't have to make any horror tests. They can actually break off if they would like by spending 3 AP, and they can try and fire instead.
Okay, so he's got lots of room to do this.
Gonna pop out with the SMG, yep.
And he is going to actually
go to there. He's gonna go locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
Sounds good. So now he's locked and loaded, which means he can interrupt AP in his line of fire within 12 inches to shoot. All right, so we're gonna move an inch over to here, whoop, in this corner, and then we're gonna spend 2 AP to kick this door open with Officer White. So you have now seen an action take place within 12 inches of you. Would you like to spend that locked and loaded token? Spend the locked and loaded token. His SMG has a rate of fire of 3. At least 1 shot has to be against the guy that activated, but he can split the rest of the fire anywhere he wants. So first shot's gonna go into Officer White.
Yep.
He is in cover at least half, so that's -1. And you're putting a 2 into him, you said?
Yeah.
Do them one at a time, because the second one's an additional -1.
So
first one, so you are -1 for cover.
+2?
What would you be +2 for?
Oh no, you're right. 3 + 1.
Okay, so your firearms is 4, it goes down to 3, so it's a total of 6, so it doesn't hit.
Yep.
The second one, your firearm goes down by another 1 now because your rate of firing, and that'll miss as well. Now your third one, you want to split over into
Shotgun
over here,
load.
Officer Trent. So he's also in cover for -1. And that's not gonna hit you with a 2. Oh my goodness. So that's 3 noise. 3 noise and 3 ammo going down. I still have 3 AP left, so I can move 3, and I'm gonna do so to go get behind cover out this door over to here. It's over to you. You've got Gorman, and then you've got Farsight and Hicks, who are currently engaged. Hicks is gonna spend 3 to move back 1 inch and break contact with that zombie. And then he's got a total of 3 left, so that's 1, 2, and then 3. Head over beside the broken down pole. All done, so we're gonna activate Officer Bilko. He loves Officer Bilko. He's gonna go, and he's gonna go 6, to come scoot around this corner over here with his pump action shotgun. Like so. 3 to break off here with Farsight now.
Move back 1.
Okay.
And
3 more. Get some line of fire. I was gonna run, because he's gonna die otherwise, and he's just gonna go cower like a hero behind this dumpster. I'd really prefer him not to be dead. I was gonna go head over here.
there.
Now, we actually shot at him, didn't we? Let's see if that brings some noise on. It does! This alarm or something goes off on the postal truck, and its horn starts honking and lights start flashing, and it's got to make a noisy roll this turn. Speaking of which, we got Officer Trent. Officer Trent's gonna go. He's gonna move 6 and just go hang out by this corner over here. All right, so that is all of our activations done except for my last one, which is going to be over here, which is Anders. Anders is not gonna break off. He's gonna try and club this zombie. I'm the defender this turn. I get to shoot first. I am going to activate Officer White, and he's gonna try and take down Lieutenant Gorman. Officer White has a surplus assault rifle, because he's just a cop. And he is going to be firing. He's within 9 inches, which means that he's in short range, but you are -1 for being in cover. And my additional shots will be at -1 too after the first one. So I'm firearms 4 goes to 3 because of cover. That means I need a 4+. It's gonna hit you. The second one I'm gonna put into you as well on a 5+, because the additional -1. Oh, I'm gonna hit you again. And the third one, I think I'm done with this now. I'm gonna put one into him if I can. That's gonna be Shane. And a 6, I hit him too. Wow, I just rolled a straight flush. That was just bananas. So the first shot, second thought, and third shot hit. So 2 shots into him. Have you got any kind of Kevlar or anything like that? Tactical vest?
Nope. So
all right. Endurance 4, though, he's tough. And that means I'm rolling +4 for my assault rifle. Damage 4. It is, what am I looking at here? Yes, it is damage 4, you got it. So 4 dice +4. That's gonna be 7, so that's only 1 point of damage, because we round down, lucky you. And the next one, I need a 4+ to do another one. I don't think I can kill you. 4+ is 8, I do 2 more.
And he's dosed.
And he's dosed. So I take out Gorman with the assault rifle. I'm gonna get to mark a human knocked out. Whoop, for him for experience later. Get to do some damage against Shane over here. Damage 4, what's his endurance?
3.
3, okay. So that's only going to be a total of 5, so 1 point of damage to him. I just chip damage him. Shooting Officer Trent with your SMG. So just spraying the clip here. Everything's going in. He's in short range. Just got cover. So you'll be hitting on 4 or better 3 times. Well, first one's 4 or better. Hits. Second one's 5 or better. Misses. Third one's 5 or better because the additional shots. Hits twice. So SMG's damage 3. He's endurance 3. And that means if you roll a 6, he's just dead. And if you roll a 3+, he'll take 2 damage. And so 2 damage, the second one, roll anything, he's out. You've knocked out Officer Trent before he can fire his shotgun. Trent's down, things aren't looking good. So now we've got me being able to nominate somebody who can shoot, and we're gonna nominate, well, 20-year man, you can't shoot. McGonagall, you're behind a wall. It's gonna have to be Officer Bilko, yeah. So Bilko's gonna take a shot. I think we're gonna try and shoot Farsight. His firearms 4. He's over half range, but you're not in cover. So he's gonna be -1, which means he needs a 4 better to hit you with his shotgun. Missed. Pull the damage off this guy. I forgot my assault rifle's only rate of fire 2. I forgot the SMGs are 3. The rate of fire on him's only 2. So he doesn't take the damage that he took last turn. I just killed McGonagall, or what's his face, your leader. And he should have 2 noise and 2 ammo on him as well. So it's back at me. I've pretty much shot with everybody can fire. So it's your turn. Farsight?
Farsight into Bilko.
Makes sense. So you have a short range. I think you can shoot up to 32. You're definitely in short range no matter what it is.
30-inch range.
Yeah, so 15 for sure. So no, only penalty is going to be for cover, which is -1, because you can see at least half me.
And he's firearms 4.
So you're going to be on a
4+.
4 better. Yep.
Nope.
I'll nominate good old McGonagall over here, but he's got nobody to shoot at because he's starting a wall. So it's back over to you.
Shotgun into the zombie.
Oh, and point blank. So the way shotguns work in this game is they have a rule called stepped fire. So they have 3 different range bands, 6, 12, and 18. If you're in the first range band, though, you get a rule called point blank. You get +2 to your firearm skill. You just can't miss. It's a shotgun. So you'll be getting +1 again for a zombie, which means you just auto hit. You don't have to roll, because you get a 7 automatically. Your firearm's a 4, goes up to 5, goes up to 7. So you just hit her. And that means you have to see if you hit her in the head. So on a 5+, she's just taking out.
I'm gonna fire twice because
you have a combat shotgun. That's right.
Yeah. No.
The second one could have actually missed. So just roll dice again. We'll just just do it all separately. So do the first one. Roll to see if you kill her. You do. Now the second one would have actually hit on a 2+, because you've been -1 for the second shot, but you still hit. And then did it kill her too? It did. Yeah. So you know, much better rolls. So she gets blown away. Good job, Hicks, and he gets a zombie kill. Put 1 noise and 1 ammo on him, though, because you technically killed her with the first shot. My last option to fire is going to be Anders over here, but he's currently fighting a zombie, so he does not. Shooting phase done. We go over to close combats. We've only got 1 guy engaged with a zombie. You're the aggressor, but you have nobody engaged, so it's over to me. And that means we've got Anders, who's going to try and club this zombie right here. All right, so he gets +1 to his damage with Anders. Unlike a knife, it's not +1 to your hit. So he's melee 4 against melee 3 for the zombie. Gets a 7 to a 6, so he wins. On a 5+, he crushes its head. He does not. All right, and that is all the melee for the turn. So we're going to go on to turn 3. We are halfway through the game, and we're going to roll for some noise tokens. So we're going to start off rolling for the truck over here. And does it summon on a zombie? It does not. Roll for this cop car because we forgot we shot a zombie to see if it actually generates a noise token. It does not. Then we've got Noisy 2 here. So on a 4+, a zombie's going to appear near Officer White. It does not. And then Noisy 1 over here. 5+, does not show up. 6 on Shane, so he automatically brings the zombie on. So the closest point's probably going to be this point in the table edge right here. Actually, it's going to show up over here behind this car. Whoop. As this is the closest point on the table. My noise rolls, you've got your noise roll down here. You've got now Hicks on a 5. We'll put a zombie on. He does as well. Uh-oh. A zombie shows up, and then you've got Farsight on a 5 as well. This is where you roll all your 5s.
Noisy 2.
Oh, Noisy 2, that's right, because it's loud.
So 4?
No, does not. Does not bring one on. So 2 more zombies show up on the edge. Right, ammo rolls, for everyone still has an ammo token over here. He's going to fail, so he's actually going to be out of ammo now. We'll flip that. Officer White has a reload of 10, so he can't roll an 8. So he's just going to sit on that ammo counter. We've got ammo 1 here on Bilko. He's going to also sit on his ammo counter. Ammo 6 right now on Shane. What's his reload number? 10?
8.
8. All right, so on a 1, you're okay. On a 2 or more, you're going to have to reload. 2. So he's going to be out of ammo. Be empty. Hicks, come on, make your ammo roll, buddy. You can do it. 5, he's got an ammo of 5, so he's also going to be empty. Sight, what's his reload value?
6.
6, so on a 1 to 5, you're fine. You just sit on that ammo counter. All right, zombie activation. My zombie is engaged over here still, so you get to move these guys. They're going to go 5, so he's just going to head towards Hicks, but he won't quite make it because you have to go around that tree. Maybe about 2 inches away. However, you will probably end up engaged. You will with 2 zombies. So that's 2 horror tests to see if he freaks out. Courage 3 against suit zombie. You're fine. Courage 3 against other zombie. You're tied actually because you're courage 4, courage 3. I think special is courage 4.
No, 3.
3? Okay. Courage 4 actually. So you rolled better then? No.
I rolled a 1.
You're good. Yeah, so you're fine. So you can break off against both of them. It's going to cost you 4 AP though. With the tactical acumen of Lieutenant Gorman down, you get 1 dice now for initiative tests, and your next highest courage plus is 7. So we're just dicing off now. I win the roll. I can choose to be the aggressor or the defender. I will be the defender again and shoot first. Actually, no. I'll be the aggressor. Yeah, I'll be the aggressor. That's a better idea. I'll tell you why it's a better idea, because otherwise you do this to me. I'm going to move 2 inches with Officer White over to here, and I'm definitely going to run out of ammo because of this, but then I'm going to spend 4 and go locked and loaded. You did to me, I'm going to do it to you. Hicks is going to go. Where's he going to do?
Gonna kind of.
Oh,
never mind. He's gonna reload.
Okay.
So the first thing he's gonna do is reload.
Okay. So now I have to decide right now if I want to spend this locked and loaded token. I am not. I'm gonna wait. I can keep spending AP because I want him to come closer because my long range is anything over 9. So I don't want him to be far away. Oh, but he's cagey, and he's gonna go walk over there 4. Well, pick up the telephone pole and go hide behind a cop car. We're gonna activate Bilko over here. He's gonna spend 2 just to reload his pistol and stay in melee. Anders, not Bilko. Bilko's over here. Farsight's gonna go. He's gonna spend 4 if he wants to break off. He can move an inch. And then I get to decide if I want to go locked and loaded or not. And I don't. I'm more worried about SMG guy over here. So you can keep going.
He's gonna move up 2.
Bilko's gonna go. He's gonna spend 2 to reload, just for funsies. And then he's gonna spend 4 to go hang out behind this cop car over here. All right, it's all you, Shane. What you doing? Reload, I dare you.
Reload and take 2 bullets.
You could just do nothing, but you don't have a gun then. Or you could run around and try and knife me. That's what I would do.
You know what?
Move an inch and try and knife me. Just engage him. Go for it. Be a man. Be a hero. That's it. He's going over the top. All right.
Vaulting over the line.
I'm gonna say that you're gonna go like this because then at least you have cover for this shot. So I'm gonna shoot you. My first shot is gonna be at -1 for the cover. Actually, more than -1. -2 for the cover because you're in hard cover. And that means that I am hitting on a 5 or 6. Hits.
Of course you did.
It is damage 4. So that's 8, so you can take 2. Second shot, because of rate of fire, I'm going to be at -1 again, so I'm at -3, which means I need a 6 to do this. I'm firearms 1 right now. I missed. So I get 2 more ammo, I get a 4 ammo, and I get 2 noise. And now you can complete your move and try and melee me if you want. Alright, so everyone on your side's activated now. My 20-year man is just gonna durdle, or do I want to come out? I really don't want to get killed. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go prep to rescue if I have to. So he's gonna go over to this corner here, so I can't get line of fire on. But if things go really wrong with Officer White, he'll be there as back. So you were the defender this turn, and that means you can pick who fires first. Who's gonna go? Shane? Gonna try and shoot Bilko?
Hicks is gonna...
Oh, sorry, Hicks, that's right.
He's gonna fire through the car.
Alright.
Just -2 because of where I'm standing, but
+2 because of step fire, that's right. So 3 or better. So first shot, 3 or better. Combat shotgun, misses. Second shot, 4 or better. Misses.
Man.
Oh, man. And does it set off the car alarm? It does. So 3 noise. So you got 2 noise and it's got 1 noise. It's firing rounds into a cop car. Deploy both airbags and somehow set the horn off, but you did not hit Bilko. So now we're going to use Bilko, and he's going to try and shoot Farsight. Side of 6, so I don't get point blank. So I'm just firearms 4, and we're not over half of my total. We're not outside of 9, so I'm going to hit on a 4, 3+. Makes 7. Hits. Now the damage goes from 6 down to 4 at the second step. So with the second step, we've got a damage of 4 against an endurance of 3. So let's see what we get with the shotgun. That's going to be an 8 total. So that's 2 points of damage on Farsight. I was going to get a noise counter for shotgun and an ammo counter as well. Do Farsight.
He's gonna put a shot into Bilko's head.
All right.
2, and by that I mean probably fail miserably.
Do it.
So 4 -1.
Yep. That's a 1. And then he'll gain 2 noise, and another ammo goes to 2. All right. So I've got McGonagall, who can't fire into combat. I've got White, who's stuck in melee combat, and I've got Andrew stuck in melee combat. So I'm just going to keep passing around because no one else can shoot. And that puts us to the close quarter combat phase. So I was the aggressor, which means I'll get to attack first with Officer White. Got a close quarter combat of 4 with a knife, giving him +1. So 5 total. What do you got?
3 + 1, so 4.
So 4 total. I get a 7. Sorry, actually I get an 8. And you get a 5. Okay, strength 3 against endurance 3. Oh, I knife you for 7, so 2 damage. And I think I knifes him right in the heart. Shane, any damage? Yeah.
Good.
Stabby, stabby. 2 human kills now for Officer White. Well done, sir. He's played stabby before. So now over here, because you don't have anyone in melee, it's going to be Anders trying to club this zombie. But you can roll for the zombie. It is close quarter combat of 3 against mine of 4. So roll for the zombie. I got a bad. You get a slightly worse, though. So on a 5-6, I managed to brain the thing. Brains! Not quite. All right, we're both still at 1 casualty. Sorry, I'm still at 1 casualty, but you've now moved to 2, which means there's a chance that you'll hit your breaking point. If you roll a 6 right now, you roll 1 die, you add the number of casualties you've taken, and you compare it to the highest remaining courage plus intelligence, which is 7 for you. So if you roll a 6, that's going to be an 8, and you bugger off. So roll a dice, 1 to 5, you're fine. 6, you break. Oh, and they're gone! The military have decided it is best to fight another day. Also voluntarily bottle out, and at this point Jason might have decided to because he was going to be rolling for a lot of zombies, and it's entirely possible that his position at the back was going to be overrun. Good chance that there could have been 6 zombies in the rear end, so that would have been terrible. But we're going to go to the post game now, level up our guys, and see how they get better. All right, post game, we're going to resolve some injuries. So Officer Trent went down. He's going to roll 2d6 in the injury table and see what happens. Don't roll snake eyes. 7. He is full recovered. He will rejoin the warband and be back for the next game. Rolling for Gorman, 2d6. He rolls an 8. He's fully recovered. He's back in the warbands. And then for Shane, he rolls a 3. He's captured. Your group member's been captured during the game. You must choose to automatically play the rescue mission as our next mission to try and get him back. Now it's experience time. So we'll see how much experience everybody got. Starting with McGonagall. So McGonagall, he didn't kill anybody this game, but he survived a game for D6. He did not fulfill any objectives. So he's going to get D6 experience. He gets 3 in his pool. Cost him 6 to buy a level, so he does not have the experience to do so. Officer White took 2 rival group members out of action, so he's going to get 6 for free, and then D6 for surviving the game. So 6 plus 3 is 9. Spend 6 to buy a level and sit on 3 more. He's going to buy either a roll on the characteristic table or a roll on the weapon table. He's going to buy a roll on the weapon skills table and see what he gets. So rolling on the weapon skills table, officers can take athletic and weapon skills. So we're going to go weapon skills, see what he gets. D6. Gets a 3, Headhunter, +1 Lobo to all of his shooting. Headhunter is going to give, he's basically gotten really good at headshots. He's going to get the lobotomizer skill on all of either his melee or shooting attacks. He has to choose right now. He is going to choose Lobo on his shooting attacks, which means zombies will get taken on a 4, 5, or 6 instead of a 5 or 6. Cool about Headhunter is if you roll it again, you can choose to keep applying it and the X factor gets greater. So he could actually just automatically get Headhunter on zombies if he goes through the campaign putting things in that skill. Just couldn't kill that zombie, but he gets D6 for surviving the game. He gets 1. Go, gets D6, so that's gonna be 6. He'll actually be able to buy a level. Roll on weapon skills as well for his pump action shotgun and get a 2, which is gunfighter. Hot Fuzz style, he's learned how to shoot with 2 handguns or SMGs at the same time. So if I buy him a second pistol, he's gonna be able to fire up to the rate of fire of both guns during the shooting phase, but they're always -1 to hit as if they were doing additional shots. So Trent, last one left, pump shotgun. He gets 6 as well, earns a level. Alright, so he's going to roll on the characteristic table. Now what's cool is, you can spend 3 experience from your pool on top of what you spend to buy the level to up or down the table by up to 3. It means that if you get something you don't like, you can potentially change it. So I got an 8. I don't have any bonus XP though, so I'm going to gain +1 strength with that guy. If I had any other XP, I could potentially have gotten endurance, or added to my CQC or my shooting, or even damage capacity. But I didn't have any bonus, so it's just gonna be that +1 strength. He's strength 4. You're done, so it's over to you. You've got first your boss.
Gorman.
He gets a 1, so he gets 1 XP.
Farsight.
Farsight gets 2, and Shane, sorry, not Shane, Trent. He's gonna, or sorry, Trent, Hicks.
Hicks.
6, he gets a level. So he goes to level 1 with 0 XP. Captured. Oh, you're just gonna roll for him now? What are you gonna roll? A table for skill or a table for?
No. I'm rolling for him.
Oh, for him 5. He gets 5 XP. So no level
and he
for.
Killed a human, so that's 3.
Oh, that's right. So he gets 8 and 9 actually, respectively. Yep. Hicks got 7, sorry, because he killed a zombie, not a human. And then Shane just got 8 because he killed another rival warband member. They both earn levels, so that's going to mean that one has 1 in the bank, one has 2 in the bank. So Hicks has 1 in the bank and a level, and Shane has 1 in the bank and a level. So I'm going to get a skill. Which one do you want to do? You want to do athletic? You want to do weapon skills?
Or educational.
You can also do educational, that's right.
Let's take a weapon skill.
Okay, weapon skill, 3. That's gonna be Headhunter, so he can take it on his gun or on his close combats. Lobo 1 for shooting or Lobo 1 for close combat?
He's going to take Lobo 1 for shooting.
Okay, so Headhunter, and then it's firearms 1. And skill on Shane as well. Gets 1, that's quick load, so he gets to load a gun for 1 AP. Backwards actually, so Shane has the Lobo, he's got Headhunter, and then that was Hicks that got the, I couldn't tell from behind who it was, who got the quick load for his shotgun. Level up some experience then, we're gonna start scavenging some equipment. So I'm gonna decide, where do I wanna go? I won't go to the camping and sporting goods store, unfortunately, unless it's to go and find the dog. Which means I can never scavenge stuff from there, so no bows and arrows and stuff for me. So I can go to the military cache or the gun shop. I'm gonna go to the gun shop, and I'm going to try and scavenge there. Let's see how much scavenge points I've got in this mission. Everybody that was not out of action at the end of the game, so I have 3 guys, give me D3. I won the previous game, so I get 2D6 for that. I did not get any supply tokens or anything like that. So I'm gonna get 3D3 plus 2D6. The 2D6 for winning the game, I'm gonna get 2, good job guys. And then 3D3 from the surviving warband members, 1, 4, and then 2 more is 6, plus 3 is 9. I'm gonna try and buy some Kevlar actually for McGonagall on a 5+. I have 3 chances to do it because 3 guys weren't out of action. So 5+, nope, second one, 5+, Yeah, so I'm gonna buy him Kevlar, and I'll have 4 in the bank. One guy out of action. I get D3 extra scavenge for that, so I get another 1. So I'm at 10 scavenge, but I just spent 5 to buy him a Kevlar vest. So with my 3 levels and the Kevlar vest, I'm at 114 now for my survival probability, and it's over to you. So you had 2 guys not out of action. So that's 2d3, and you lost the last game, so it's an additional d3 scavenge this turn.
So 3d3?
Yep, 3d3. 3 scavenge. Any scavenge in the military cache because you're military. Semi-automatic will cost you 3. There's no rare roll. It's just in your bank. 2 levels and his newly acquired revolver. Your survival rating is going to go to 108. And that will be your first game for the military. So after their first game, McGonagall's lawmakers are still basically in one piece. We had some level ups there, and McGonagall himself managed to acquire a bulletproof vest in their scavenging. They also had the safe haven for the night, which means that they obviously probably got better sleep than the military did. Gorman squad at the end. Shane's been captured, so unfortunately they're going to have to play a rescue mission next short-handed to see if they can retrieve him, but you'll get to see that next week. So there's the current state of the warband with Shane hopefully coming back after getting rescued. All right, so there you go. First look at Last Days Zombie Apocalypse, the game I wrote in 2009 that everyone's been bugging me to show off. So thanks for watching. We're going to do another game just so you guys can see the campaign mechanic and you can see my lawmakers and Jason's military back for the rescue. You know what happens to Shane. You'll see that next week, so tune in then. Until then, I'm Ash, this is Jason. Happy gaming.